Hello, hello, hello. We're getting together again. I'm excited. Let's go. Wait for people to filter in. But thank you and welcome. Thank you and welcome. Today we're going to be doing our live presentation. And the title of today's presentation is We're Leading from Where You Are. All right. So I give everybody about 15 seconds to join, and then we just kind of jump right into this. Again, the topic is leading from where you are. If you're just joining for the first time, please drop your first and last name and where you're from in the chat box. I'll make sure to send you a thank you email or follow up text afterwards to say thank you for joining. Yep, it's just I'm getting a notification that my meeting has actually started. So awesome. All right, so we're getting ready to jump right into this. Today's presentation is about lead from where you are. Let me see, make sure nobody I need to add to the screen. And if we do get somebody, just make sure you drop something in the chat box and then we'll get going from there. So again, thank you for joining. Today's topic is lead from where you are. And I would first like to say, what's up? Thank you, Lincoln. What's up, family? I'm Patrick Hart. And today we're breaking into the myth that you need to have a fancy title to lead. And whether you're stuck in the middle or just silently grinding at the bottom, this one is for you. We're going to dive into that mindset, the strategy behind leading from right where you are, because the truth is, real leadership, and listen, it starts before the corner office and it starts with you. All right. So I do want to ask you to do this. Go ahead and drop the fire emoji in the comments if you feel like you're made for more, like you're really made for more. What's up, Anna? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I definitely wanted to connect with you anyway, Anna, because I was looking at your LinkedIn profile. There's some tweaks that you could probably make on your profile to make you a little bit more vibrant, stand out as well. But I know you and I, we've been connected for quite some time, so that may be something we want to connect with behind the scenes. But I think you're heading in the right direction. So yeah, go ahead and drop the fire emoji in the comments if you think you're ready for more. So many of us, we feel like we're ready for more, but we just don't know how to get there, right? And so now we're going to talk about lead from where you are. How do we get there? What are the steps that we need to take in order to get there? So Michigan, that's great, awesome. I'm from Texas, and if you guys don't know Dallas, Texas, the great state, Lachey, what's up? Thanks for tapping in. She's one of the people that always supports all of my content, even some of the stuff that I put out there that doesn't make sense. I don't even know why I threw it out there, but you're still supported. So thank you anyway. I appreciate that. Much love. And yes, thank you for agreeing with me, Anna. Thank you. I like the fire emoji. Lachey, there's some things too, because I looked at your profile as well. There's some things you could do to separate yourself from everybody else. Really quick, before we get into the presentation, if you're just like, you've been following my content for a little bit, what do you think? Like, what am I selling? What am I selling? What do you think I'm selling? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. What do you think I'm selling? Because everybody's selling something, right? What am I selling? And I'll wait for you to let me know what am I selling. And while you're doing that, thank you. I love Texas too. I'm from Texas. Come on, it's the greatest state in the world. Like it's awesome. We got the Cowboys. Well, I can't say much about the Cowboys, but we got the Cowboys, right? Growth. I'm selling growth. All right, I like that. Robert tapped in and said, I'm selling growth. You're right. I think, Robert, you're probably going to be the closest one on this one right here. I'm selling opportunity. What I'm selling you is a new version of yourself. I'm selling you to help you understand how to play the game within the corporate world. Because there's two things. You're selling emotional intelligence, absolutely selling emotional intelligence. I'm helping you understand that there's a game to be played if we're going to elevate and rise and get to those levels of success that we would like to, especially if we're trying to do that within the corporate world. And on my level of elevation through the corporate world, I reached a level when I was in these rooms, and then I was looking around and I noticed that I was the only one that looked like me that was in the room. Now, granted, I worked hard to get into those rooms because I was always that curious guy. I wanted to know what's behind this door and how's that, accessing that door going to help me get to this door, right? Who is this person? What is their role? And how can I connect with them that's going to help me get to there? So when I found myself in these rooms and I'm looking around, I don't see a whole lot of people looking like me. As I'm climbing this ladder, there's a lot of people that look like me that I'm passing up along the way. And I'm like, well, why is this? Knowledge and strategies, absolutely. Knowledge and strategy. Why am I passing these people up? And the difference was is these people are more educated than me. They have more talent than me. They're way smarter than me. Most of them look better than me, right? The difference for me is that I understood that there's a game to be played within the corporate world. And that game is how do I position myself? How do I influence other people? And how do I get the recognition that I'm looking for? That where people view me as the leader that's going to help their organization scale to a level that they've never reached before, right? So that's finding your voice. So we're going to get into this whole topic today, and everybody's right. Self-awareness, self-knowledge and strategies, growth, mindset, all that is absolutely spot on. We got the fire emojis being dropped if you feel like you're ready for more. So let's jump right into it. One, why waiting for a title is holding you back. You've experienced this before? Yep, absolutely. Most of us have. I mean, I would imagine all of us have. Even getting passed over for positions for people that don't look like us, right? They've been there less time than us. They have less education than us. They have less experience than us. We're going to talk a little bit about all that. This is a 30-minute crash course. Open, the chat box is wide open. So if you got questions throughout the discussion, please feel free to drop those questions. And then I'll make sure to try to either round back or discuss them while we're having this discussion. So one, while waiting for a title is holding you back. Too many times what we're doing, and you know this, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. Hopefully I tell you in a different way that you've heard it before. We're waiting for somebody to tap us on the shoulder and, hey, Patrick, hey, Lachey, hey, Anna, it's time for you to elevate. Hey, Rob, it's time for you to get to that next level. Or guess what? We like everything you bring to the table, and guess what? Here's a raise. Here's a 6% increase. Guess what? Here is a promotion just because we like what you bring to the table. Those are few and far between. We have to go after those opportunities. Leadership isn't about authority. So a lot of us think that leaders is about somebody leading over a group of people telling you what to do. No, leadership is about responsibility as well as initiative. And these are two words you have to really learn to understand: responsibility as well as initiative. Companies, they notice people who show up as if they already have the title. And that's one of the things that I worked hard at doing is like, I own the building, even though I don't run the building, right? You want to show up as if you're already in that role. So, and there's a couple of mindset shifts that we're gonna have to talk about that's gonna elevate you and position you for that greatness over your peers as well. And then waiting is stalling your growth, it's stalling your influence, and it's stalling your bag. Most of us here, we're here for the bag. Like, why do we want to elevate? There's many different reasons. One could be culturally, my parents wanted me to get to a certain level of, success, right? That could be one, cultural. Two is financially, I want to change the dynamics of, my life and the life of my children. That can be two. Three could just be personal, motivation that you want for yourself, right? There's nothing wrong with any of that. Whatever your motivation is, you want to keep your motivation at the forefront of everything that you do. And so we're going to talk about, why waiting is holding you back. I want you to go ahead and type of yes. If you ever felt like you've been doing your job without the title, why yes, drop that in the comments. If you feel like even today or in past positions, you've been doing the job, but you didn't get the title. Is that Jillian? Yeah. Hey, I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining as well. Man, this is about to get deep, and I appreciate you guys' support. It's about to get really, really good. So, how to leverage your existing experience and skills to build influence. So, this is called inventory, right? It's inventory is what you already know: the skills, the certifications, the connections, and insight. A lot of people call this the gap analysis. Well, how do you analyze the gaps that you have today? First, you want to identify a position that you would like to achieve, whether it's in the next 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, whatever, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at that position. I'm going to look at the qualifications that they have for the position, basically the job description. And generally speaking, they say, oh, we want a bachelor's degree or we want a master's degree. That could be one. Two could be like, oh, we're looking for 5 years experience leading, sales teams. That could be two. Three could be is we're looking for people with an experience networking or business development. That could be three. Four is we're looking for 4 to 6 years of experience driving revenue across organizations. Five could be is we're looking for people with startup experience, or we're looking for people who are used to coaching other people, or whatever those requirements are, right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at, okay, that's the job description. These are the qualifications. Where do I fall short? Where could I enhance in areas that the job description is looking for? Remember, I'm eyeing this out 12 months out, 18 months out, 24 months out, 36 months out, whatever. And I'm going to work on developing those skills. So those skills we're talking about skills, certifications, connections, and insight. All of those are important. Some of the skills we could talk about is communication, right? Communication, empathy, leadership, things like that. Certifications, it could be whatever certifications they're looking for. Like one of my weaknesses as an executive, and I would always point this out in my interviews, is like I'm a people person. I can manage others. I can influence. I can drive revenue and growth from the organization. I'm great at networking. I'm great at deepening relationships. I'm great at that repeat referral business. But one of the things I absolutely suck at, like I hate, is Excel. Like I hated Excel. Even to this day, I don't like Excel. Like I just feel like that ain't something that I need to invest time and energy on, right? So it's always been a weakness of mine. So one of the things that I would talk about is that, I would bring this up. Hey, I'm really good in all these areas. However, Excel was one of my weaknesses. And I'll point this out because I want to let people know what I bring to the table. Now, what am I doing to help me get better at Excel? Is I always surround myself, always build my team up, or ask for insight from my team to help me in areas in which I'm weak in. And I would 100% always do that. So even though I've reached these executive positions, Excel was never been a strong point, nor did I have to learn it because I would empower other people on my team to help me in areas that I was weakest. So that's showing vulnerability, right? But it's also asking your team to support you. And if you build trust and buy-in from your team, people want to help you, right? 100%. They want to help you in areas of you weak, especially if you want to help them. So that was an area that I've always continued to work on. Now, connections. Let's talk about connections really quick. Now I already know the next 12, 30, 18, 36 months, this is the position that I would like to have. Now I want to find 6 to 10 people who are doing that job either in this company or other companies, and I want to connect with those people. Why do I want to do that? Because these are people that have already accomplished where or they're already living a life that I'm trying to live. They've already accomplished and or succeed in this role that I would like to achieve. What I'm interested in doing is being in their atmosphere, within their orbit. And now I'm looking at what are they posting, how do they move, what's the message that they're putting out there. And when I'm in their orbit, I'm surrounded in their circle. Now I can actually tag in on posts, comments, or just follow them in their journey. And I'm doing this because I'm creating visibility for myself, right? So I've identified my 6 to 10 people. And now from there, I want to deepen my connections even more. I want to connect with 3 to 4 people who of the person that I just connected with who's holding the title, right? At a level below them because I'm now within their orbit, right? And then all those people that they're connected with, they're in my orbit as well, right? And now I'm commenting, I'm liking, I'm positioning, I'm growing my network because I know if these people have already achieved that, then they could probably help me get to the next level, either within their organization or my organization as well. All right, thank you, Lachey. I appreciate that most definitely. But has turned into mentorship and leadership transfer. Okay, great. Y'all, I'm looking at the notes over here. I'm looking at my notes right here, and then I'm looking at the camera. So y'all bear with me. So we've identified our inventory, our gap analysis. Then we talked about influences, people that you trust, what are they doing. Then you want to learn how to position yourself as a resource, not a worker. Too many times what happens is we go to work and we look at our value of how many hours that we're putting in and how good you are at your job, right? So, I talk to people at the water cooler and they be like, man, you won't believe I'm putting in 50 hours this week and I'm really, really good at my job, but I keep getting passed over. Well, let me tell you why. Because you're really, really good at your job, but you're not really, really good at orchestrating or fulfilling the vision of the organization. There's a mindset shift in order to get to that next level. You're no longer focused on how many hours you're putting in to do your job. You're focusing on, um, effectively what you've been able to do from a leadership standpoint within the hours that you have. So crossing over that mindset shift is I'm no longer a worker, I'm a leader within the organization. Workers think of their contribution to their particular job. They think of how many hours that they put in for their particular job. As a leader, I'm thinking of how can I put in less hours but still have the same influence or outcome across the organization, right? And a lot of us, what we're doing, we're stepping into leadership before leadership is ever awarded to us. And in order to step into that, I'm changing my mindset from a worker to a leader. In order to change that mindset, I need to understand what is of value, what is the company trying to accomplish long term? What's the big picture, right? And that's what I'm backing into. If I understand the big picture of the organization, now I can contribute across the organization. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to contribute for my role. I'm trying to contribute across the organization well before I have the position. So we'll talk a little bit more about this. So we want to learn how to position yourself. You want to be a resource. What is a resource? You hear on the global news how we try to create, the US, we create these relationships with other countries, right? Because they have resources that we don't have. Maybe they have an abundance of something that we don't have. A resource is something of value. Same thing for you. You have to become a resource, something of value within your organization, right? Or you have something of value that you're able to spread and give to other people. So now that I know I have something of value, I want to speak up. I want to speak up in meetings, right? Not just in my role, not just in my segment. I want to speak up and show my value and what I can bring to the table beyond my particular job. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to step on some toes and things like that. You have to be strategic about this, and there's ways to do this. So 3, we're going to be ways to lead upward, across, and beyond without stepping on anyone's toes. So let me break this down. There's leading up, there's leading across, and then there's leading beyond. Let me touch on each one of these. Leading up. So you're supporting your boss's vision while helping them see your potential. That's leading up, right? Because now we got a boss over us. We know that they have goals, they have visions for the team, for the organization. I want to help my boss by seeing or helping him or her fulfill their vision and then seeing how I can be a resource to them. So now they're seeing my potential. That's leading up. Leading across is building coalitions with your peers. I'm not building or being part of cliques. I'm building a coalition. So these are like-minded individuals like myself. They're all about the hustle journey, right? All about the hustle journey. And then we're talking about influence and the impact that we can make in the organization. So leading across. Leading beyond is influence outside of your team, right? This is the cross-functional power plays. This is outside of your team. So let's say you're hired for a sales position, right? A lot of positions that I had were sales positions. Really, really good at sales. I'm really, really good at people management. I'm really good at business development. I'm really good at leading teams, things like that. But as a leader, I don't want to be just good at sales. I want to help the organization contribute to the greater good, because we know if the organization is not around, I don't have a job. So we should be thinking like that. I'm not just trying to do my job. I'm trying to do the job of many people, even though I don't have the title. So what am I going to do as a salesperson? I'm going to look at, well, what kind of roles support sales and their growth? There's going to be marketing. So I want to connect with all the people within marketing. I want to understand their job, how they do simple techniques to help influence sales. I want to partner with them, learn what they bring to the table so I can help them, help me, right? That could be one. The other one is product management. If you're going to sell something, right, you have to actually design and develop it. So I want to connect with the product management team. Why am I doing this? I want to understand the work that they have to do behind the scenes that's going to contribute to the success of the organization. And now I'm going to position myself as a resource to help the product management team to help me be successful. You see what I'm saying? This is how you're doing it cross-functionally across outside of your team. It can be marketing, product management. It could be, business development. It could be, you name whatever it may be within your organization or outside of your organization. But this is how I'm thinking strategically. How do I network like that? Understand the assignment and still being generated and execute. Absolutely, you're spot on. Okay. Then the key here, so we're talking about leading up, leading across, and then leading beyond. The key is, and this is the hard one for people to do, you want to lift others up as you climb. No shade, no ego. And it's hard to do. And I say that because we're in the age of social media. Social media can have you thinking that, man, you're worthless, that you're less than. You see other people fulfilling their life, right? Living your dream life. And then you start questioning, are you doing enough? Right? Or you see people within your organization that maybe you started with and they're getting promoted over you. And it's hard for you to clap for other people. You have to get good at doing that, clapping for other people, whether you believe it or not. Visibly and in front of other people, you have to clap for them. Why are you doing that? It's one is you're supporting their growth. Two is you're supporting your soul. If you don't clap for other people, this is all part of leading and growth. If you don't clap for other people, you can get stuck in these self-doubting beliefs of yourself, and it prevents you from elevating beyond a point. So learn how to clap for others, and it will, and I guarantee you, it'll help you elevate from beyond where you are, right? And I know it's hard to do, but it's something you got to practice. So that's going to be a tip for you to do. I want you to do what do I have here? All right. Is anybody else skill that you have? Your boss probably interested. Okay. Do you have a skill that you bring to the table, but maybe your boss or your organization they don't value it or they don't really know that this is a skill that you have? One is yes, I have that skill. Two is what is that skill? I would love you to drop that in the comments really quick. So, what is the skill that you have that your boss probably underestimates or undervalue that you bring to the table? We'll talk about it really quick. Think about it. Skill that you have, you bring to the table. Maybe nobody in your organization knows that you have that skill. We'll come back to it while you're bringing it up. I'm getting to my next area right here. Your ability to lead without positional power is the ultimate career cheat code. You have to get good at leading even though you don't have the title. And leading is about influence and outcomes, right? Leading is about influence and outcomes. Because what are we leading? One, you start with leading yourself. If you're going to lead other people, you have to learn how to lead yourself. And a lot of us say, well, again, I've been doing the job. I'm putting in 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, but I'm still not getting seen or visible. Well, are you leading yourself? And if you're leading yourself, meaning you're putting yourself in those positions to have effect and outcome over other people within the organizations. Um, Comments here, Lachey, positions have tried to make me feel like I've had imposter syndrome because I bring natural mentorship and leadership. Yeah, that happens to all of us, because imposter, I mean, and just backing up, imposter syndrome. This is where you doubt everything that you bring to the table, and you feel like maybe you shouldn't be in that room. It happens. It shows up. It shows up for me every single day, every day. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this, blow smoke up your dress or anything like this. Every single day, I question, man, am I even doing the right thing? Should I even be doing this? Showing up in groups, and then you're like, wow, I don't know if I should be here. Like real talk. It happens every single day, but we have to learn how to move past that. And then once you learn how to challenge that and move past that, it's good. Your growth is only going to get better. So you're sitting here, you're looking at me today, you look at things that I post online. I still have imposter syndrome, still to this day. So I don't want you to feel like that makes you less than being imperfect. You can't rise to the level of success that you're looking for. So for real world examples, so I put together some real world examples of people who built trust and authority before promotion. Like here's an example. There's a nurse, right, who created a mentorship program on her unit, later became a clinical manager. So she built a mentorship program on her unit. She later became a clinical manager because she got promoted. Two, there's a billing analyst who streamlined a process without being asked and got promoted to supervisor. Three, there's a tech support rep who coached new hires after hours, and now they're running the training division, right? So in these examples, what I would like you to get out of these examples, what do you get out of each of the example? And I'm just going to tell you so you're not guessing. You get initiative, visibility, and then value creation. Initiative, visibility, and value creation. Too many times we don't want to raise our hand, we don't want to initiate, we don't want to volunteer for anything because we feel like we're giving up free time. Have you ever changed your mindset to say, you know what, if I do this, this is going to create a moment for me within the organization that I can use for later purpose. Think about that, that I can use for later purpose. It's kind of like this right here. We're having these one-on-one. I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, we're commenting with each other. What am I going to do after this? I'm going to take this, bits and pieces of this, and I'm going to share it across social. Why am I doing that? Because it's value creation. Like I've just created value for not only you, but I created value for me. And now what am I going to do is I'm going to use this to position myself as a thought leader, as a brand specialist on the topic across social media. That's the same thing you do in your workplace. You volunteer for something or you take an initiative to do something and you chop it up later and use it to benefit you. So we got to think about that as we're growing our careers. How can I do something that I can record later to repurpose within my organization so people know exactly what I bring to the table? You see what I'm saying? Think of it as like it's a content strategy. What content can I create in the office workplace that I can go back and reuse to position myself as that thought leader over this specific topic that's going to create value? So in those situations, we talked about initiative, visibility. I created initiative because I did something. Now I have visibility. And now with that visibility, I created value for myself. So in those three examples, the nurse got promoted to a clinical manager because she created a mentorship program. The billing analyst streamlined a process and they got promoted to supervisor. A tech support rep coached new hires after hours, and now they're running the training division. I appreciate you, CZ, for popping in. CZ King always pops in, so big support as well. Thank you, man. I appreciate the comments. But I want to help you guys get to that next level. Now, I also want you to think of me like this. A lot of my content is two-pronged, right? One is focused on growth, it's focused on leadership, it's focused on identifying, problems, creating solutions right there. So a lot of people think of me as a coach. I don't want you to think of me as a coach. There's enough coaches on LinkedIn that you can connect with, and they'll charge you whatever they charge you to help you get to the next level. I'm your mentor. And me being a mentor, what I'm going to do is break down the game and give you behind the scenes advice that has worked for me to help you get to the next level. So what am I not doing? I'm not charging you for this right here. This is free. Y'all notice this is free. But I'm using this from a branding standpoint to get to where I would like to get to. There's twofold. One is help people to look like you and I get to that next level. Two is my big vision is I'm just looking to be the influencer over healthcare. Simple as that. Healthcare needs someone to influence the outcome of these organizations. So if you see the company that I set up, which is PDP Media, not only do I talk about opportunities like what we're talking about now, but also spotlight healthcare organizations, tell their different and better story. Now, big picture, there's some things that I'm working on behind the scenes that I can wrap this up and create, even more brand awareness and create more opportunities for people to look like us. But you got to start somewhere, right? So one is that mentorship. I'm here as a mentor. Two is help organizations tell their different and better story. Because in healthcare, we do a horrible job do that. The other thing too is we do a horrible job of doing is career laddering. We can get people into the space, but we don't tell them how to get beyond the role. And too many times what these organizations are looking for, they want to bring you in and expect you to be in a role for the next 3, 5, 7 years. And then you get passed over from a wage analysis standpoint. There's no progression and you don't know how you're stuck. And I don't know how to get from here to here. So that's what we talk about. How do I go from here to there, right? How do I get from there to here? How do I create this outcome? And this is what it's all about. Your mentor, Patrick. And with that said, if you know organizations that are looking for branding opportunities, go check out some of my videos. I just dropped a recent one yesterday as well, so you'll probably like that one. All right, number 5, a practical. I talked about this. This is going to be your 3-step framework for start leading today. And I'm just going to break it down. It's called ACT, ACT. ACT, just remember ACT. It's going to be access, assess, not access, but assess, communicate, and then take initiative. Remember that. Assess, communicate, and take initiative. What are we assessing, right? This is your 3-step formula right here. I'm just going to give it to you. Simply break it down. We're assessing our skills. We're assessing our network. And then we're assessing our current opportunities. We talked about before in the very beginning. Where am I lacking from a skill standpoint to reach that next level? So I want to identify that. 2 is my network. We know your network determines your net worth, right? You've heard that before. How can I network better than what I've been networking before? So 6 to 10 people within roles that already fill in the position. And then I want to connect 2 or 3 levels beneath that so I can create this orbit, I'm in an atmosphere of like-minded people that can help me get to the next level, right? So that's my network. And then three is going to be my current opportunities. So now I'm looking at, my role within inside the organization, and I'm seeing, is it possible to get to two levels, three levels, four levels above where I'm at today? And I'm thinking about that. Can I really do that, or am I truly stuck? So that's going to give you some clarity to do. I need to pivot and leave the organization and find something else to do, or do I need to work smarter within the organization to get to where I want to be? So skills, network, and current opportunities. That's your assess. That's what we're assessing. Two is we're going to communicate, show up in meetings, share ideas, and ask better questions. And when we say show up in meeting, listen, it's not just visibly, your boy, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna look good, right? You're going to see me. That's gonna be, but it's not that. When we're talking about showing up in meetings, it's about finding your voice. That's what it's about. And then that sharing ideas, the ideas that's going to impact not only your position or people around you, but the organization. So we want to give this some thought. This is where I'm sharing ideas. And then ask better questions. Understanding the vision of your boss, understanding the vision of his boss, understanding the vision of the organization. These are the questions that I'm trying to determine whether or not I have the right answer for. And once you get good at doing that, you can communicate better your vision or the impact that you can make within the organization. So thank you for the support. And then three, take initiative. We don't want to wait for permission. Start small and solve real world problems. Oh, I hate this one so much, and I hate using the word hate. But too many of us, man, we're waiting. We're waiting so long for permission for somebody to tap us on the back and say, Patrick, it's your time. No, no. So I like to think of this like this. Some people do things and then ask for forgiveness. Other people ask for permission, right? I've always been that person. I'm going to do it and ask for forgiveness because at the end of the day, it's my life. Yeah, I'm working for the organization, but this is my life. I'm trying to get somewhere. And I don't know what your motivation is, but my motivation is to get to a level that I'm not at today, right? So I don't want to ask for permission. I'm going to map out how I'm going to get there. So let's don't wait for permission. We can ask for forgiveness later. And if you're going to say, well, I'm afraid to lose my job, well, listen, this is part of playing the game. Let me tell you something. Right now, we're in that game of life, right? And not only in the game of life, but we're also in the game of elevation. If you're going to elevate within one of these organizations, playing it safe, that was yesterday. We can't do that anymore. We already know AI is coming into the scene. These companies are downsizing. They're looking, how can I replace you, right? So that's where the act is so important. Assess, communicate, and then take initiatives. We want to take initiative, solve real world problems. And then this isn't about being fake, okay? It's about activating it. We're not talking about being fake, activating it. What are we activating? We're activating ourselves. So we have to get active. So start with your next interaction beyond today, right? Show up as a leader. Let me see if there's questions in here. Making sure there's no questions really quick. I did point out, Lachey, you probably want to connect with me afterwards because I did look at your profile. There's probably some things that we could talk about, some tweaks. Same thing with who else was on here? Anna, you probably want to connect with me too. About 15 minutes. There's some things that we could talk about that's going to help position you to be more of a thought leader, build your presence. Because if you look at people's profiles, they all say the same thing. You talk about you talk, and I'm not saying personally, Anna or Lachey, this is what you talk about. I'm just talking about general. What a lot of people talk about. They talk about their contribution within their position, but they don't talk about their contribution across the organization, right? So that's two different things. I contributed to this, or I did this, but it doesn't talk about, spell out the outcome. They're looking at bold things. We're looking at revenue generation, 30% growth, 45% retention. We're talking about 60% business development. Those numbers speak volume for what you bring to the table. It's no longer, I'm looking for a role that's going to fulfill me as a person. I want to be a leader. I want to contribute. That's speaking like a worker. You're not speaking like a leader. And then the other thing too is, if you never interviewed for an executive level position before, I would practice in the mirror, look at some of those questions, because what they're asking you is way different from what you've probably been interviewing for before. And you're thinking, okay, well, I'm a good people person and I interview well, but leadership interviews are way different. We're talking about outcomes. When we talk about opportunities, we're not talking about problems. We're talking about solutions. And then that's what we're looking for. The whole interview is about solution. How you've done something, how you use other people, use your network to actually solve a problem that the company had. And in return, this was the outcome. This was the solution. This was the opportunity. See what I'm saying? So we're just thinking differently, right? Like that. I want to pause here, open it up for questions because I'm already over time. This was only supposed to be like a 30-minute thing, but I'm already over time. So let me open this up really for questions. And while you're dropping your questions, I would like to say this again. Y'all make sure you connect with me, follow me across social media. My handle is simple. It's that healthcare guy, whether that's TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, what else? Instagram, that healthcare guy. You're going to find me. My company is PDP Media, P as in Patrick, D as in dog, P as in Patrick Media. What am I about? One is to be your mentor. Two, to be that healthcare influencer across healthcare. And three, is to spotlight organizations to help them tell their different and better story. So make sure you do that. My final sign off here, and then I open it up for questions and go to your questions. Go ahead and lead boldly, lead now, and never forget your title doesn't define your power, your impact does. So let's get it. And that's what I'm about. I'm about creating impact, right? So I'll pause there for questions. Anybody? I'm 6 minutes over time, but I try to cram it all in. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. Oh, and the other thing too is a lot of the content that I make. If you look at like the one that I dropped today, you see this jacket. I recorded that this morning right there in my kitchen. So it's like it's real time content. It's like I'm not batching it up. This is like real time. So a lot of times when you see a lot of that content, I just created it that day. So it's fresh, it's live. You know, I'm authentic, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat or tell you anything that you don't like. Connect, collaborate, and vibe. Thank you, Lachey, a huge supporter. I love the fact that you continue to support even some of my bad content. But thank you, CZ King. Thank you for tapping in. Robert, thank you as well. Anna, we appreciate you. Jillian, man, I love the support that you give me as well. So thank you very much. Y'all make sure you connect with me after the fact. Hit me up on LinkedIn or whatever, however you follow me. Just send me a DM or whatnot, and we can set up some time. Just kind of dig in a little bit more. Remember, I'm your neighborhood mentor, so I'm just trying to help you get to that next level. And to the next time, let me see. There's a new comment that came in. Appreciate it. All right, let's get it. Talk to you soon.